Hiya. So, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and all my friends in the QSA who check the other box. My name is Kieran Ward. I am a junior here at Mountain View High School, and I am here today because I think I have an idea worth spreading. Now, I want to ask you all a question. What do you think of when you hear the word change? Some people think of change for the better. Some people think of change for the worse. Some people think of changing for PE. Some people think of that one older guy at the supermarket who's taking a really long time to is taking a really long time and he's just fishing around in his pocket for change and they have to open up 12 lanes behind him. All right, let's just stick with this so-called change for the better and change for the worse. Now, I'm here today because people don't really seem to realize that not all of this change for the worse stays as change for the worse. To get more into it, I'm going to tell you all a story. Let me take you back to 8th grade. I'm living in Menlo Park, California, going to Hillview Middle School and looking fly as hell, as usual. I had a bunch of friends, fun extracurricular activities, and I thought everything would just be smooth sailing from here. That is, until one day, my father told me that I would not be going to Menlo Atherton High School like I had planned. Instead, he was forcing me to go to Mountain View and become educated at Mountain View High School. All right. All right, first of all, this is literally ruining my life for the rest of it. Even though all of my friends are half an hour a drive away, I thought I would never see them again. And also, Mountain View High School. How unoriginal of a name can you get? All right? I've never heard of anybody successful or cool coming out of Mountain View High School. And worst of all, I'd never even been to Mountain View, all right? I only knew 2 people who had ever seen Mountain View. So obviously, this was the worst place forever times infinity. Now, as you may or may not be able to tell, I was a bit of a drama queen. At first, I didn't want to give Mountain View its chance. Between being a socially awkward freshman put out of my element, I thought I wouldn't ever make friends again. And it really doesn't help when within the first few weeks of school you get your backpack, texts, and house searched because they think you're going to kill the passage of time itself. But that's a story for another day. Now, I kind of felt lost, friendless, and pretty damn lonely. That all changed, though, one day in room 420, Miss Good's room. All right, now the room is awesome enough with Miss Good in there, but it's made even better by the fact that every day a bunch of people gather to play Super Smash Bros. Melee on the Nintendo GameCube. Now, most of you know Super Smash Bros. As that game that everyone had on their Wii. You know it has Mario and 400 other characters you've never heard of. You know that Meta Knight is really good, and Kirby has that one move that turns him into a rock that your little cousin always spams. But what you may not know is that Melee, which is the second game in a series of 4, has a gigantic metagame, millions of tournaments and players worldwide, and some players so skilled they can take one of your lives without a second thought. And I certainly didn't know that going in. I just thought of this as that older version of that game that I kind of played a few times on my Wii. So I watched this small group of people playing this 15-year-old game on a console of the same age. And I just watched and watched and watched. And as I watched these people play, from Jared, the amazing Fox player, to Lincoln, the spammy Peach, and Broadcasting's own thinker, S.I.E. Angelus, usually one of them would just ask me, "Do you want to play too?" Oh, well, usually I declined because, I was afraid of getting beaten so bad that my parents would disown me or something. I was way too afraid of losing to give it a chance. So I just kind of sat on the sidelines and watched. But one day, I just kind of started thinking, nobody gets anywhere in life by just sitting around doing nothing. If you don't try, you have no chance of succeeding. But if you lose, you still gain new experiences from it. Like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And, Lance Armstrong wasn't the first man on the moon by doing nothing. He wrote the I Have a Dream speech and freed the slaves, making him the first man on Mars. Yes, I did fail freshman history. How did you know? So, on that particular day, someone asked me, as usual, if I wanted to play next game. And thinking back on the idea of how I wouldn't change if I didn't try, I finally responded with yes. Now, I was finally ready. I had seen many of the characters in my time watching them play, and I thought Samus sounds pretty easy, so I decided to go with her. And with that, we hopped into the match, simply by pressing the A button. Unsurprisingly, I got my ass kicked, chopped, cooked, and handed back to me on a silver platter. Apparently, three people who play this game every day of their life somehow managed to beat a first-time player. But I was not deterred. I kept playing, and playing, and playing, and losing, and losing, and losing, and losing. But as I played this game, I started to adapt, I started to adjust, I started to learn how to get better. For instance, I learned that B wasn't the only button you could press to do attacks. New attacks were as simple as well, that's, my slides are all off. Pressing the A button. To get better, I had to change. An idea that freshman me would have hated. And one of the greatest things of this experience is, as I fell in love with this game, it started to open up new friendships and new opportunities and make me meet and socialize with people that I never even knew existed. All right, I want you all to raise your hand if you have ever became super close friends with someone because of a single thing you had in common. A lot of you. See, it's quite a common thing. For instance, one of my best friends ever since second grade became my friend because I told him about World of Warcraft. All right? And one of my friends that go to this school, we became one of the main reasons we became friends was through our love of acting and hatred for 8 frames of input lag. It's only a few of you will get that joke. I'm sorry about that. As I fell in love with the game, it gave me new opportunities and access to more friendships. And it all started with a party game from 2001. So, by now, you're probably thinking, Kieran, what does this talk have to do with me? Also, you're incredibly attractive and I want to go on a date with you. To which I say, I am. Thank you for noticing. But I kind of want to get to the main point of this talk. I want to tell you now that the reason I've been rambling at you for 8 straight minutes is because I want to give you a message. Friends can come and friends can go, Making friends it can be easy as just starting a conversation and finding a common point. And if friends go, don't be discouraged because everyone changes. And sometimes people change into things that may or may not be compatible with you. So while one friend may change into someone who's not compatible, maybe another person's change into someone who you'd really like. Friends, don't become discouraged when something changes. Instead, keep an open mind because just letting yourself be changed is one of the greatest possible things you can do. I found out from coming to this school that change can lead you to places that you've never imagined, like falling in love with a 2001 party game developed by Nintendo Entertainment and HAL Laboratories. Or when your dad asks you if you want to be in a play in 3rd grade and you just say yes. Change can lead you down hundreds of different roads. Sometimes it just helps to let it come to you. Even philosophers who are thought to be some of the smartest minds in history have made a ton of comments on this, whether they're recent or ancient. Change starts and change ends things. From a game of hopscotch on the street to the mightiest empires and civilizations of the entire history of the world. Change is a natural part of life, and it will happen to you. I was changed in so many great ways from coming to this school. Meeting friends, discovering a new favorite hobby, and even getting to talk in front of a crowd of people at a TEDx event. And that all started simply by pressing the A button. Thank you.